Hey everyone, Bradley Jack Design here with another design breakdown, this time my Tiger Woods design from this year's Masters. So I'm going to show you what I have layers wise, making the background, this lighting stuff in the front, text, and Tiger himself. So we're just going to hide everything over here and I'm just going to break it down from a fundamental standpoint. So first what we have here is a background group. So I just have black started off. I've got a photo of Augusta set to 40%. On top of that, I have the green, which is actually from the photo of Tiger fist pumping. I have this sort of mapped and stamped out to be one full green. I've got a photo of a tiger in the background, a photo of Tiger himself. I have this layer that makes it darker, which doesn't make much sense right now, but if I turn this gradient map on, you can see if I have this off, it's super bright up top. I just have it on there to make it slightly darker. On top of that, I have this border texture I use in a lot of things with a gradient map on it that just makes it green so it's not so harsh when it's black. Then what we have going on is I've got Tiger in the background here yelling, which I edited. If you've seen my other video on how to edit images in Lightroom and Photoshop, I use the exact same technique in there to get this effect on Tiger. And then we actually have Tiger fist pumping here on top of the text layer, so I can show you that first. I've got a levels layer on top of that just to brighten him up a bit because he did look a little too dark in that. Then we've got the main text. So I've got on here Tiger is back. I laid that out first. Then I had the 13 under, which is what his final score was. And then on top of that, I've got the 5 years he's won the Masters. I've got two glow layers on here, and I'll show you why I have those in a second. So up here I have this light leak overlay on top of it, everything. I have that with a levels layer on top of it to make it a little darker, make it a little more contrasting, and then I have a gradient map on top of that to make it green and yellow, which matches the colors of the Masters. So then on top, so that basically is having this glow effect. So in order to make it seem like this text is glowing, I have masked to the letters essentially the text with a Gaussian blur on it, and I just blurred out I masked out everything that isn't sort of touching this light here. So I did that for the year and for the name back. On top of that, I have text at the top, which I did the same thing for. So I've got this top text, which is just each round and his place. Then if I go up here, I have this sort of light leak again up at the top. The same as the other one with a levels layer on it so you can't see the edges, and then a gradient map, the same one of green and yellow on top of it. And then below it down here, this top text glow I have so where it is hitting this light is glowing a bit more on the edges. Then on top of everything else, I've got some lens dirt with the same gradient map I used, another lens dirt just to add more, with the same exact gradient map used just to add a little bit more depth in the front. I have all of those set to with a specific levels layer to make them less apparent essentially, so you're really adding in a subtle texture. On top of everything, I have this texture here. I don't even know what this is. Let me open it. It's probably a paper texture. Yeah, so it's just sort of this rougher paper texture that just gives a little bit more texture, and I have a black and white gradient map on it just so none of the sort of brown color comes through on that. Then I have a folder with lookups in it, color lookups and a gradient map. So this gradient map I have, you can see it does a lot. It's sort of this blue and green, which sort of uses some Seahawks colors. I actually got this, I believe, from Ethan Johnston's design pack. So if you can go and download his asset pack, you can get this gradient map. I have that set to soft light at 50% just to add a sort of coloring to everything, a color cast to the whole design. Then I've got some color lookups. So I've got Futuristic Bleak set to soft light at 25%, which you can see, makes it a little bit darker. You can't really tell that big of a deal what it does. Then I have Kodak 2395, which I use on a lot of designs, set to 50. And then on top of everything, I have Drop Blues, which basically gets rid of all of the blues. It basically makes his pants and his hat, gets rid of any sort of blue color hue to it and makes it actual black. And then I've got just a watermark I put on this. So really all we got here is some lookup layers, some texture and lighting, top text, Tiger, the main text that's behind Tiger, Tiger yelling, some border texture, and the background. It's mainly about composition. You know, I've got the small tiger here, big tiger up here, some stuff in the background, big main text, and then some little accent text up at the top with some light leaks and some dirt overlays to add texture to the design. And I do this in a lot of my designs, so you guys have all the tools in order to make something like this. It just depends on composition, finding photos, editing the photos, and where you're placing the text on things. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure if you like this video, like it and subscribe as well. And be on the lookout for some more breakdowns soon. Thanks.